Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another episode of B is for Build. In today's episode, we are working on the pontoon yacht project. In the last episodes, we announced that we are building a giant pontoon boat the size of my yacht. It's got a second story to it, it's got a bathroom, it's got a grill, it's got a sleeping area, it's got a hot tub, it's got everything that you could ever want. So then we started building the thing. We took two very, very large pontoons and cut the nose off of one, butted up to the other to make a very, very large pontoon that was not commercially available to purchase. We got a set of those, we squared everything up, we got our center pontoons ready, and now it's time to build the enclosure for the hot tub. It's a very big selling point for me on this boat. I've always wanted to be able to have a hot tub on the water. I know it's ridiculous, but that's just what makes it so great. So in today's episode, we are building the hot tub tub. We're building the thing that surrounds and encloses the hot tub so we can place it right there in the front. It is a very integral part to the entire build and process and boat. And it's already been a huge pain. So let's get started. All right, in the last episode, we got everything all squared up. Everything's in its place where it needs to be. And this giant hole right here is where a giant tub goes. It's a big thing we're trying to build right here. And well, let's just hope it works. We're just gonna hope it works. So the thing that we're gonna start doing first, let me show you on the design here. This is where the hot tub goes inside the boat. This is where the hot tub goes inside the boat. And basically we have this tub that goes in the front. It has a angled front piece that will help elevate it over the water, help push water under the boat. And in the back, it butts up to these two pontoons right here. So the first part of the plan is gonna be to build the base of the hot tub. So the base piece of material. Now, worth keeping in mind, they don't sell aluminum at the size that we need. This thing is 6.5 feet wide and it is, I don't know, almost 10 feet long. The base is not 10 feet long. The base is like 7 feet long or something like that. And so you can't buy a single piece of aluminum that size, so we have to buy two pieces and we have to weld them together. Whenever you're doing a big project like this and you might need to make changes, I highly advise don't fully weld anything out, just tack weld stuff. That way if you need to cut the welds and go make a change, it's a lot easier. So what we're gonna be doing is building the frame for it out of 1x1 eighth wall aluminum tubing, and then we'll build the base aluminum sheet for it as well. And then we're gonna build the back plate that butts up to the center pontoons. And then we can start mocking up placement and seeing if it's all gonna work where we think it's gonna work. It's looking hot tub shaped and sized. Okay, this is the base. It's all tacked together. Now what we're gonna do, our back piece is over there. That's the one in white. That goes across the back there. So we're gonna go ahead and weld these uprights in the back. We're gonna be just getting them, probably gonna need a little more than a tack. Strong tack. We're gonna verticalize them off of the world. We'll double check our floor for vertical and then we'll verticalize them off the world. And then we're gonna do the same up here. That'll allow us to get the backs and hopefully the sides all tacked on, all square, and then we can walk this over to the front and then we can check our kind of angle of approach for the bow and where that's gonna land. That'll allow Kyle and I to start working out the 2-inch top frame, 2-inch material top frame for this whole thing. We've got our spacers set out. This is our expected height off of the ground. It's equivalent to the bottom of those pontoons. That's just kind of our expectation of the height that this thing's gonna need to be, but this is why we're test fitting. What's that phrase they say about boats? Like it's a big hole in the water that you throw money into? At least it'll be warm and have bubbles. All right, so we've got the hot tub, what's built so far of the structure in here. The bottoms are butted up. This is like flexing a little bit, so that will all, kind of be flat and stuff like that. And now what we're looking at measuring is our angle of approach for our hot tub bow Slammer 5000. That's what Kyle's holding right there. So we got to find a way to, we'll get it on those rubber blocks. Yeah, we'll bring the rubber blocks out and we'll set it on there real quick. So if we bring that down, it is hitting our stringer early. Damn. You know, on the computer, this didn't look this way. I don't know what happened. This part is just so technical. If we don't get this in the right spot, then the engines don't go in the right spot. And to compensate for that, there's not a lot we can do other than like make the boat shorter, which I don't want to do. And if we land the hot tub in the wrong spot, then the doors won't open correctly for the furniture. So it is a bit of a stressful situation. I believe that we do have the back set right to the 3D model. I think we have the rest of our references set to the right to the 3D model. So we'll get stuff a little bit more permanently set up and double check our model, triple check our model, and try and figure out what's going on. All right, guys, we found the data mismatch between the 3D model and the real world. A little bit of jogging around pontoons. We took this as an opportunity too to move some things into more optimal positioning as far as our center pontoons in relation to our rear pontoons. So we're good now. And what we're gonna do now is since the hot tub box is in the right spot and this is like very, very perfect, we're just gonna verify one more height thing, making sure that it's totally square across the pontoons. And if it is, then we're going to calculate the total length. That way that can tell us the tilt of the front, and it's easier to build out on the ground back over there. And then we should be able to whip up the rest of this whole frame. Kyle and I will cut the sides while Oscar starts to set the 1x1 for the front. Okay, we've got everything cut for our big box. We're gonna go ahead and get that tacked together soon. Big square. This is the big box. And you can see that we also, Oscar got the stitch weld done right through the middle to get our two pieces to be one. We have to do the other side now as well. But you can see that we cut out these supports. So we're just kind of treating it like a floor. This is like 15 inches on center. Each support is gonna go across here. And those are gonna be our supports for the floor. Everything is gonna need a lot of supports. So aluminum, this is the same gauge aluminum as the pontoons, but obviously when you wrap something in a circle, it makes it a lot stronger. Aluminum over this large of a distance is always gonna be pretty flexy, pretty wobbly, pretty flexy. So you want it to, a lot of supports are gonna have to go into this. I mean, that's just the way that this was always gonna have to be. So we're gonna trim these up so they fit nicely, set them in there, get these get these welded in there, and then we can start working on getting our big square done. And then also we're gonna flip it over and weld the backside. We've got the frame, so this is the size of the hot tub. It's absolutely massive. Frame's done. That's been welded now on both sides. Kyle has cut all the stringer mounts that don't match up. He's got them all cut off of one of our pontoons. He's working on the other one right now. So things are really cooking along. Next thing we got to do now is integrate this, the upper part of the frame into the hot tub and kind of get that like basically supported enough that it could be welded in there. And then we could start looking at the sides and then welding in more supports on all of the four corners. All right, guys, back on it for another day. You might have noticed I kind of disappeared yesterday. I got really sick. Like, that really sucked. but I feel better today. It was like some sort of a weird stomach issue. Feel better today, we're back on it. So Oscar is gonna work on cutting the bow ramp 1x1 angles and get those tacked in. So they basically connect from down there in that corner up to this corner right here. So he's gonna get those tacked in, and then we're gonna start working on bracing. All right, we got the uprights in. I just got back from a little lunchtime steel run. Had to buy 60 more feet of the 1-inch square tube. So that should get us to be able to fully brace this thing out. So with all the uprights in, that's how we decided to do it, because the weld kind of chamfers that corner right there a little bit. So you need to know that when you're cutting your pieces to do the diagonals. So all the diagonals that I did over there, you got to cope them a little bit more to make room for the weld. So we're gonna go ahead and now from here on out, it's just like X's in basically every rectangle that you see here gets an X brace in the middle of it, and we should be good. One little pro tip we figured out on the spool gun: if you are like us and you don't use your spool gun a ton, and maybe it's been sitting around the shop for a while, the aluminum on the spool gun could get a little bit, I don't know if I'd say the word corroded, but it gets a little old and it's not gonna weld as good. And it's probably, these are only about 10 bucks, 11 bucks down at Harbor Freight. We're throwing it away and getting some fresh ones, because the fresh stuff is gonna weld a lot more consistently for you and a lot better. So that was something that we fully welded out these pontoons with maybe two and a half year old aluminum spool. Bad call, should have got fresh aluminum had we thought it through. So just pro tip on that one. Oscar and I spent the last 5 or so hours cutting support bars. Oscar did all of these super angled double coped ones. Those are tricky. I did all of the basically square ones. And one thing I wanted to show you guys, a little trick that we got up our sleeve here to make things go faster. A little bit of a cross brace jig. So just take a piece of metal like this, cut out a channel for your other one to go through, and then you can feed your bottom one up into that, put some clamps on it. You'll see us we'll clamp it in 2 spots if we need to. And that will hold everything steady and hold everything aligned. That way when you weld your X in there, it'll be straight. It'll be a straight X, and you'll have 2 straight pieces to do your bar. Doesn't work as good on roll cages, unfortunately. I mean, you could kind of pull it off, but it's a lot easier when you got the access that we have here and it's only one-dimensional. But yeah, it's a nice little trick. So we're gonna go ahead and get everything welded out. And then once we have welds on the outsides of these things, we'll be sanding them flush so we can get the metal on. Hi guys, we are back for another day of welding out this hot tub box. Now, you may have noticed in the last episode, and you're gonna notice right now me talking about it, how our time-lapse cameras, they had that, it's called banding. So what happened? We have old cameras, GoPro Hero 7s, pretty outdated technology. I'm always trying to, like, you know, stay better with technology. So we've got some 9s and some 12s, and we were using those over the last few days. And then when I went to start editing yesterday, I saw that terrible banding issue, and I am now troubleshooting on it. So you will either have a proper view with the 7, or I'll figure out how to fix the 9s and the cameras moving forward. I just gotta say, like, if you're into film and doing this type of stuff, it doesn't seem like there's an action cam time-lapse company that's doing it right, just period. GoPros have problems with overheating. The new 12s have a really fun time cutting your image, your video in half when you upload onto Mac. We've run into a lot of issues that have ruined once in a lifetime opportunities, ruined the footage of them, which is a bummer. And then other companies have their own fallbacks as well, like with DJI and other ones. So I wish I had better advice, but maybe you have advice for me in the comments. So let me know if you've got one that shoots a good time lapse that you like and think is good. I'm in the market to change because the 7 is like probably 5+ years old now. So I'd like to get a better picture, but not have that vertical banding. Anyways, that's my bad. From here going forward, we'll make sure that we don't have that issue going on. In the work world, Oscar is welding everything out. There's not a lot of post-processing that needs to be done other than when he welds the outside things, we're gonna sand it. And then we decided we got some more 1x1 inch leftover material. So we're gonna go ahead and run a horizontal. Is that horizontal or is that vertical at this point? It's left to right. It's all horizontal now. Perpendicular support through here. So we're gonna run one right through there and one right through there. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's like 5 pieces for each one. We'll measure them out, we'll get them chopped up, and Oscar's gonna have a real fun day of welding. For how large this thing is, it's pretty amazing that it's still completely, like you can just pick it up with one arm and lift it up, set it back down. Pretty crazy how lightweight aluminum is. Maybe we should have built more stuff out of aluminum, guys. Now, obviously it is a little prone to heat warping and stuff like that, as you can see here, but that will not be a problem for us because that's the bottom of the boat. So Kyle's gonna add some supports right there, and Oscar's gonna continue skinning this bad boy and getting the skin done all the way around it. Hey, we built a Cybertruck. Just kidding. Hot tub box has got its sides just tacked on here. Oscar's gonna actually TIG weld this out. We think it's actually gonna go faster and be more waterproof, more durable with a TIG job. So Oscar's gonna TIG weld this out in the long run. For now, we're gonna go ahead and flip it on its side, get it on rollers. We'll roll it over there, just like these guys are somehow rolling a 50-pound box. And then we're gonna get it over where the hot tub goes, over by the Jump-A-Con, get it aligned. The hot tub box is in place. Everything went really well as far as getting the right level for everything. So it's gonna connect right up with our 2-inch stringers, sit level with all of them, sitting level with the bottom of those pontoons that it's gonna connect into. Really, really happy about the placement and everything. It's got a good, it kind of connects with the water a little bit behind where after the pontoons go fully flat. So I'd say that's 6 to 8 inches behind where these pontoons go to like fully flat mode, which I think is good. I'm very happy with this. The cross bracing looks really cool. That is a hell of a hot tub box right there. So in the next episode, we're gonna be integrating this into the pontoon stringers. We've got like stuff to go over this, so it's not a giant gaping hole in the middle of the boat. And then you can see in this episode, Kyle knocked off a bunch of the unused stringer mounts on the center pontoons. We're gonna be replacing those so they match up with these pontoons, and we're gonna basically be tying everything together so we can get our deck on here. It's gonna be the big official bolting all 4 of these pontoons and the hot tub box all together into one big old structural unit. We're gonna be adding a lot of reinforcements connecting this to this and this to this. Everything in here is going to be super beefed up. So hopefully those 2 pontoons don't rip off of this. That's obviously going to be the worry point, the weak point. And I think if the boat were to have a failure, I think that would be exactly where it would happen. But we're gonna plan for that and we're gonna build the hell out of it. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please remember to subscribe so you don't miss our next episode, so you don't miss that alert when the next episode comes out 1 week from today. Thank you guys. your support means the world to us. That we get to build such a crazy fun project and try all this out is amazing, and we really, really do appreciate it. Remember, beisforbuild.com if you want to pick up some merch, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace!